The woman who once cared for Meghan and Harry's household has finally broken her silence, and what she reveals bears no resemblance to the carefully curated family portraits the public knows. She says she lived behind the gates of their California estate, spending endless hours inside rooms meant to hold ordinary family life. But from her perspective, almost nothing inside those walls aligned with the image sold to the world. She describes a home that felt more like a set than a sanctuary, days that followed scripted patterns, and truths about Archie and Lilibet buried beneath a silence so heavy it isolated even those paid to be there. She insists she witnessed these things firsthand, and she is no longer willing to play along. From the moment her story begins, the version of this family you thought you understood starts to fracture. Those familiar with the household say her decision to speak had nothing to do with fame or revenge. She came forward because the narrative being broadcast globally clashed violently with the reality she lived day after day. She worked inside the estate, tidied private spaces, slipped unnoticed through long corridors, and served the family at close range. She observed the disagreements, the long stretches of stillness, the rigid rules, the constant pressure, everything that exists when the cameras disappear. And what she alleges is both straightforward and deeply unsettling. The life Meghan and Harry presented to the public, especially as parents, did not resemble the world she experienced. She says warmth was missing, energy was missing. The everyday chaos of raising young children simply wasn't there. Instead, she recalls a house that felt hollow, unnaturally quiet, tightly controlled, and meticulously orchestrated. Her account sets a chilling mood. Something about that home felt wrong, and the silence itself carried meaning. The nanny explains she worked grueling 12-hour days, 5 days a week. She arrived before the sun rose, left long after nightfall, and passed through every corner of the property. And yet, she claims she never once saw Archie or Lilibet. Not briefly, not accidentally, not ever. She says there were no scattered toys, no miniature clothes mixed with laundry, no cries, no giggles, no sound of small feet racing down the halls. For a house said to shelter 2 young children, she insists the stillness was disturbing. Other employees, according to insider whispers, sensed the same void. They quietly exchanged uneasy glances about the unexplained absence, but never voiced it openly. Everyone assumed the children would appear eventually. One day blurred into the next. Weeks slipped by, months followed. Still, nothing changed. For the nanny, this was not gossip or speculation. It was her lived reality. If the children were truly there, she says, there was no trace of them. But her doubts didn't begin with the children. They began earlier, during Meghan's pregnancies. She states that throughout her time in the household, she never once witnessed Meghan pregnant. Not with Archie, not with Lilibet, not even subtle signs. She stresses this carefully, aware of how serious such a claim is. According to her, the pregnancy images shown publicly on red carpets, in photographs, in polished documentaries, did not match the woman she saw in private spaces. Other staff members, she claims, noticed the same inconsistencies, silently questioning how 2 versions of reality could coexist. The nanny says she would not fabricate a memory she never had. If she didn't see a pregnancy, she refused to pretend she had. She stayed silent for years, believing someone else would eventually address the unanswered questions. No one ever did. And so she stepped into the light, creating the first visible crack in a story that had been flawlessly packaged for public consumption. Those who worked inside the estate say new hires quickly learned that personal privacy was an illusion. Phones were confiscated at the entrance. Bags were searched for recording devices. Even meal breaks were quietly observed. Every cleaner, chef, assistant, and visitor existed under constant scrutiny from the moment they crossed the threshold. The nanny says the house never felt like a place to live, it felt like a secured facility. Voices stayed low. Movements stayed deliberate. Lingering in hallways felt risky. Cameras were everywhere, and no one knew which ones were live or who might be watching. The constant scrutiny inside the mansion made normal behavior nearly impossible. Every minor slip felt like it could be weaponized. No one knew where the recordings ended up or who was watching. To the nanny, the level of control revealed a stark reality. This house was hiding something. Sources familiar with the hiring process say Meghan imposed rules no contract ever mentioned. Most striking, they claim, was her insistence that the nanny could not be striking, glamorous, or camera-ready, just ordinary, invisible, someone who would melt into the background. It wasn't about jealousy, insiders insist. It was about dominance. Meghan wanted to be the undeniable center of her domain. Any strong presence, even unintentionally, could shift the balance. The rest of the requirements were relentless. The nanny had to be flawless yet unnoticed, available at any hour, unwaveringly loyal, ready to vanish the moment cameras appeared. From the start, it was clear. This wasn't merely hiring help. It was constructing a controlled image, and everyone in the house had to play their part. Insiders say the deeper expectations revealed themselves once interviews passed the surface. Life had to revolve entirely around the Sussex household, never the employee's own existence. The rules were unforgiving. Always on call, day or night. If a request came at 3 a.m., she had to respond instantly. No romantic entanglements, no children, nothing that could divide her focus. All attention was demanded for Archie and Lilibet, children she says she never once saw. Immediate relocations without notice. Bags packed before questions could be asked. Travel could be sudden, and obedience was non-negotiable. Staff accounts describe a job that was not a job. It was a lifestyle stripped of freedom, a world in which the secrets of the household outweighed any comfort. The strangest part, she says, was working for a family whose days bore no resemblance to ordinary life. Insiders reveal that the interview began long before any handshake. Candidates endured what was called a trial shift, though the nanny later realized it was more like a silent examination. Hidden cameras tracked everything: interactions with staff, movements through rooms, responses to stress, reactions to unexpected moments. By the time she met Meghan and Harry in person, she felt they already knew her completely. Every instinct, every small error, every fleeting expression when she thought no one watched had already been catalogued. Sources claim the face-to-face meeting was less a conversation than a confirmation that the woman on tape matched the one standing in the room. For the nanny, it was proof. Trust had no role here. Surveillance ruled. Even before the search began, Prince Harry had envisioned a New Orleans-style nanny, elite, disciplined, trained, a model of tradition used for generations of royal children. Meghan, however, rejected the plan outright. She demanded a modern, flexible approach: no uniforms, no old-school systems, no rigid schedules, a caregiver who belonged to her world, not the Windsor legacy. Those first tensions, insiders say, quietly set the tone. It revealed the rift between Harry's past and Meghan's future, two philosophies of home, two visions of family. From that point on, childcare followed Meghan's rules. When the Netflix documentary arrived, the nanny watched with a mixture of curiosity and dread. Scene after scene deepened her confusion. The rooms, the gardens, the children playing and laughing, it was all wrong. The life she had witnessed bore no resemblance to the footage. Even the famous chicken coop moment felt staged, a production, not real life. She saw Meghan visit it, but never with Archie or Lilibet. Clean, polished, camera-ready, it was all for show. To her, the documentary was no glimpse into reality, it was a meticulously crafted illusion. As she pieced together memories of long shifts, empty corridors, and whispered secrets, one question haunted her. Staff murmured it quietly. It remained unspoken within those walls. If the children lived there, why had no one ever seen them? She recounts seeing Meghan at home only when cameras were present. Moments that should have been spontaneous were performances. She witnessed a marriage more contractual than tender, days dictated by rules, surveillance, and theatricality, but with no trace of the very children she was supposed to serve. Watching the world embrace a story she never lived, she realized her silence had helped sustain the illusion. So she finally spoke. Her account doesn't offer answers, it leaves shadows. A lingering, unanswered mystery clings to the image of a family once touted as open and genuine. Locked doors, orchestrated scenes, and children absent from daily life, the questions remain. And until the truth behind those gates is revealed, one question overshadows all others: what were Meghan and Harry truly hiding?